Good morning, Prep 1. Today we have the second lesson in algebra, which is comparing and ordering rational numbers. First, let's remember some facts of comparison. If we have number 4 compared to number negative 2. Now I'm going to use a number line to compare between 4 and negative 2. First, I will mark number 4 on the number line and then mark number negative 2 on the number line. As we know that the farther to the right on the number line is greater in value and the farther to the left on the number line is smaller in value. So here number 4 is to the right and number negative 2 is to the left. So for sure number 4 is greater than number negative 2. So we can deduce that any positive number is greater than any negative number. The second one, if we have number 0 compared to number 5. Now I'm going to use a number line to compare between 0 and 5, and I will mark number 0 on the number line and then mark number 5 on the number line. Which one's farther to the right on the number line? For sure number 5 is to the right and number 0 is to the left. So number 5 is greater than number 0. The second one, if we have number 0 compared with number negative 2. Now I'm going to use a number line. So I will mark number 0 on the number line and number negative 2 on the number line. As we know, 0 to the right and negative 2 is to the left. So the farther to the right on the number line is greater in value and the farther to the left on the number line is smaller in value. So for sure, number 0 is greater than number negative 2. Now we have negative 5 and negative 2. What happens if we deal with negative? So we can use number line. So we will mark negative 5 on the number line and then mark negative 2 on the number line. So which one's farther to the right on the number line? Negative 2 is farther to the right and negative 5 is to the left. So for sure is negative 2 is greater than negative 5. So the bigger negative number is smaller in value. Now we want to compare between two rational numbers. What is the simplest way to compare between two fractions? Some of you are thinking that we have a calculator and we can change any fraction into decimal. Yes, it will be right. And the other are thinking that we have to find the least common multiple and get the common denominator. Yes, it's also right. But the simplest way to compare between two fractions is cross multiply. By multiplying the top number of the first fraction by the bottom one of the other fraction, then write the answer up. For example, if we have 5 over 7 and 6 over 8. Now we want to compare 5 over 7 to 6 over 8. We will use cross multiplication by multiply the top number, which is 5, by the bottom one of the other fraction, which is 8. So 5 by 8 it will be equal 40. So we will write the answer up. The second one we will multiply 6 by 7. It will be equal 42. Then write the answer up. Now we have 40 compared to 42. So for sure 42 is greater than 40. The second one, if we have absolute negative 2 over 9 and negative 8 over 5. As we know that the absolute value for any number except 0 is always positive. So absolute negative 2 over 9 will be equal to 2 over 9. Now we want to compare 2 over 9 by negative 8 over 9. So we will use cross multiplication. We will multiply 2 by 5. It will be equal 10. And then multiply negative 8 by 9. It will be equal negative 72. Now we have 10 compared to negative 72, as we know that any positive number is greater than any negative number. So 10 is greater than negative 72. The next one, if we have 9 3 over 4 and 9 5 over 9. Now we want to compare between two mixed numbers. First, we look at the whole numbers. If the whole numbers are the same, like this, we will cross the whole number and then compare the two fractions as the previous by cross multiplication. Here we don't need to convert mixed number into improper fraction. So here we will multiply 3 by 9 equal 27. And then multiply 5 by 4, it will be equal 20. Now we have 27 compared to 20. So for sure 27 is greater than 20. The second one, if we have 2 1 over 5 and 3 4 over 9, as we said before, we don't need to convert mixed number into improper fraction. First we look at the whole numbers. Here we have 2 and 3. If the whole numbers are different, then we directly compare between the two whole numbers. So now we directly compare between 2 and 3. It will be equal, it will be number 3 is greater than number 2. The second one, if we have negative 3 over 8 and negative 5 over 6. As we said before, to compare between any two fractions, we will use cross multiplication method. So we will multiply negative 3 by 6, it will be equal negative 18. And then multiply negative 5 by 8, it will be equal negative 40. As we said before, the greatest negative number is the smaller in value. So we have negative 18 and negative 40. So the greatest negative number is smaller in value. So here negative 18 will be greater than negative 40. The second one, if we have 23% compared to 3 over 8. So we have to change 23% into fraction by writing 23 over 100. Now we will compare 23 over 100 by 3 over 8. By the same way, by using cross multiplication, multiply 23 by 8, you can use your calculator to multiply 23 by 8, it will be equal 184. And then multiply 3 by 100, it will be equal 300. Now we have 184 compared to 300. So for sure 300 is greater than 184. The second one, if we have recurring decimal 0.18 compared to 2 over 11. So we can write 0.18 recurring decimal 0.18 in your calculator by writing 0.18 18 18 18 until you fill your screen. Then write equal. You get 2 over 11. Now we will compare 2 over 11 to 2 over 11. They are the same, so we will write equal. The second part arranges the following in a descending order. We have fractions 5 over 6, 17 over 18, recurring decimal 0.6, absolute negative 1.5, and the last one negative absolute recurring decimal 0.7. Now we wanted to order these rational numbers in a descending order. You can convert these fractions into decimal by using your calculator. And you have another way that to find the least common multiple to get the common denominator. It also right. But the simplest way to ordering rational numbers is to convert these fractions into decimal by using your calculator. So You can write 5 over 6 in your calculator and then write equal. You get 0.833333 and so on. But we don't need to write all of these decimal. You choose only 3 decimal places. So we will write 0.833. It's enough. Then you will write 17 over 10 over 18 in your calculator and then write equal. You get decimal 0.944444 and so on. We don't need to write all of these decimal parts. You choose only 3 decimal parts. So we will write 0.944. The second one, we have recurring decimal 0.6. So you can change it into decimal by writing 0.666. We need only 3 decimal places. If we have absolute negative 1.5, so as we know that the absolute value for any number except 0 is always positive. So absolute negative 1.5, it will be equal 1.5. So we can change 1.5 into decimal, it will be equal 1.5. The last one, if we have negative absolute recurring decimal 0.7, it will be equal negative 0.777. We will write only 3 decimal places. Now we wanted to order this decimal in a descending order. First, we look at the whole number. Here we have 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. We want to arrange this decimal in a descending order, so we need the greatest whole number. So the greatest whole number will be 1. So the first decimal 1.5 and then cross 1.5. We have 0.833 and 0.944, 0.666 and negative 0.777. So the greatest one is 0.944. Then cross. Now we have 0.833 and 0.666 and negative 0.777. So the greatest one is 0.833. Then we have 0.666 and negative 0.777. For sure, 0.666 is the greatest. The last one is negative 0.777. Thank you.